Welcome to Rally Point Grill Live Fire. Today I have with me
Buffy?
Buffy,
Matt?
Matt. It's very nice to meet y'all.
Nice to meet you.
Carter. Forgot that part. Um, are you guys veterans at all?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for your service. What branch did you serve?
So I was a combat controller in the Air Force.
Do you guys have your own business or anything like that?
We have a nonprofit.
A nonprofit?
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask questions, and then before you guys answer, you're just gonna take a bite of these lovely wings here.
Okay.
How did you both get to where you are today in your career or jobs with chance opportunities and decision making?
Take a bite of the wing.
Yeah, you take a bite of the first one.
Oh, the first one. All right.
That one's a mustard-based
Mhm.
hot sauce. Not too bad.
Not too bad. We won't start sweating yet.
No, yeah. I like that, if you will.
This one. Okay.
So I think for me, we have our own little story, but my dad was killed in Vietnam when I was 2 months old. And so I come from a military family, which prompted me to go into the military. And I spent 10 years in the Air Force in special operations. So combat control is the special operations of the Air Force. So jumped out of plane, scuba dove, all of that stuff. And I was in from 85 to 95, so pre 9/11. So not part of the war on terrorism and stuff like that. I was medically retired and came out and became a police officer. And I retired as chief. And then from there, worked my way into security and led organizations from a security perspective. And that's where we both come from, is that security space. And she'll tell you her story from the military and everything with your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my natural father was in the Air Force, but when I was very young, he and my mother divorced, and so I was not in the military family, so to speak. And I came through high school, college, and for a while I operated McDonald's restaurants and went to Hamburger University even. And yeah, I know it's crazy. Something I never thought I would do with a computer engineering degree, but that's okay. And then moved over into the finance world and drove people crazy in the finance world because I was figuring out who was committing fraud, who was stealing, who was taking from us. And so started a security and fraud department and just evolved that into my corporate career, and ran global security for massive organizations all the way up until COVID. And, when we were talking earlier, when COVID hit, he and I used to travel globally, hundreds of thousands of miles a year. COVID hit, we sat at a kitchen table together and worked. And we said, you know what, this is the life that we want, is to impact veterans and first responders. And we don't want to do this corporate gig anymore. We don't want to work for others where we can't truly make an impact.
Mhm.
And so that evolved us out of both of us left our corporate jobs. We both now support our nonprofit and we do some consulting here and there because we do have to pay a few bills. But really, the passion is our veterans and first responders.
That's not. That's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
And then so what what made you want, like, what really drove you to want to start the nonprofit business to help out with the local veterans and first responders and everything like that?
Is that the next one?
Yeah.
That's the
I'm
next
still
one.
going back to this one.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
So I walked around for 30 years with PTSD and didn't know. I just thought I was wired wrong. And about 2.5 years ago, started having really bad nightmares. Got really, really short. Just collapsed in on myself and a bunch of different things. And she was like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. And went out and got diagnosed. And, I've always, for me, it's always been about how do we protect those that give up their everything to help, you know, us, right, doing everything that we're doing. And in that space, the military has gotten much, much better dealing with PTSD than they were when I was in. When I was in, we didn't talk about anything. It was just, it was just the way it was. From the law enforcement side, a lot of people don't know that law enforcement views PTSD as a mental illness, not a workplace injury. And you don't have the protections of anything if you raise your hand, and nobody raises their hand, right? Cops don't do anything. We partner with Brian Moore over at KSU, and Brian's probably one of the most leading experts in PTSD with law enforcement. And he'll be one of the first to tell you one of the issues that law enforcement deals with is loneliness, because they're not talking and they're not doing things. And we've seen a high suicide rate with law enforcement. And and then add defund the police and videos and just everything else that's going on, and it just creates that issue of alienation, I guess. And that's where, from our perspective, we try to stand in and be that voice, that advocate, that entity that will be there to help. On the policy side, we work with, New Jersey's got a bill that's working its way through the system right now. Georgia passed a bill that gives a insurance policy for one PTSD incident. But we can do better, right? We can learn from the military. We still have a high suicide rate in the military. We still are seeing a bunch of different things that are going on. And there's still the stigma, there's still I don't want anybody to be what I was, right? I want the guys to take a look inward and say, hey, it's not an issue. I can get help. I can be successful. I can do what I need to do, right? So that's what I think drove us.
Yeah.
That's you don't really see or hear a lot of people that are wanting to do what you guys are doing and take that extra step to help out people that really need it. So I think that's really, like, I almost cursed, I'm not supposed to, but I think that's really, like, cool.
Well, the piece that he doesn't mention is, like, when we come alongside a veteran, there's usually a spouse, a girlfriend, a fiance, and there's not a lot of support today that we have found across the industry to help them. So that's where I step in, and I come alongside the spouse or the girlfriend and talk with her. Are there kids involved? What does therapy look like for them? What are the resources and support that they need? And he'll walk side by side with that veteran while I'm working with the spouse. And so that's a much needed piece too.
Yeah.
This is a really, like, deep episode. So for you, because you're the veteran, what is one thing that you learned about our country while you were serving? And for you, for the business standpoint, what do you hope for the future for yourself, your family, your career, and the country?
That's another one.
Yeah, it's another one.
What did I learn about the country? I don't you go. Let me think about that. Right. I mean, because my dad died for the country.
Sure.
I mean, it's, I think we have those in this country that value what veterans do, we have those in this country that couldn't care less what a veteran does. They just take it for granted. And then there's some that just are on the fence, right?
Easily swayed.
Yeah, they're easily swayed of where they are. And, you know, I mean, when I was in, right, we were on the road 315 days a year. So I was gone. And we weren't even deployed at the time, right? We weren't in the war on terror. We were gone training, and I mean, we had skirmishes and operations that went on all over the place. I was part of the Joint Special Operations Command. So we were the counterterrorism arm of the military back in the day, and still are today from the JSOC standpoint. Um, but people don't understand. Like when I sit and talk to somebody and really get into, like me, I've had 17 knee surgeries. I've had my knee replaced. I've had my hip replaced. I've had my shoulder reconstructed. I've had fingers reconstructed. I got back issues. I got neck issues. I wake up every day in pain. People don't understand that. They don't, like, they can't comprehend that aspect of things. And it's just, you know, it's for me, I would do it again tomorrow, right? But I think that's kind of, and I wasn't part of the Vietnam veterans thing when they came home and got spit on and all that stuff. But now our guys are seeing much, much different support, but we still have that negative sentiment. And I can't figure that part out, but it's still there.
And I think that like for the negative aspect, I think social media plays a big part in that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it that you see, you don't really see the good of it. You mainly they all just show like on TikTok for your For You page, for example, all that's just bad things. And you can watch one video and now everything for the next week is just those bad videos.
Yeah.
And so the algorithms of all the social medias are just terrible for
Yeah.
it.
Right.
They're just so bad for it.
Great.
And I mean, people just take the very broad brush.
Mhm.
I mean, there's bad doctors, there's bad lawyers, there's bad teachers, there's bad restaurant owners, there's bad cops, there's bad everything, right? Just because there's bad does not mean everybody's bad,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes. And it's like with me, for example, I got arrested in 2020, but I messed up and I broke the law. But the cop that did it to me, he was cool. Like we talked about like video games, anime and stuff like that. Like he was a good dude. He just had to do his job.
Right.
And I feel like it's the same premise with the all the ones that are good that no one realizes. It's like they're not bad. You're taking it in the wrong manner.
Right.
They're just doing what they have to do.
Yeah.
So that's just how I see it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
This episode's touchy.
You getting all warm and
A little bit. A little bit.
Excellent.
So you?
Me?
Yep.
What do I want out of my career? I think I've had the ultimate career, right? From the corporate world. Now my passion is our nonprofit, and then I also have an organization called FEW, it's the Fellowship of Extraordinary Women, where I educate and pour into women to help them become everything that they want out of life. So to have those two walk hand in hand and continue to forge and make that impact in our community or somewhere,
Mhm.
that is the ultimate for me.
You have you gotten with Carrie, the owner,
No.
Carrie Roger? Oh, you should talk to her about that
Okay.
because she's big into all of that kind of things
Okay.
and about like that too.
Awesome. I can do that.
And then for both of you, for the next question, what advice would you have for someone if in like an everyday like state, like if they want to open their own business or if they were to want to join the military of any branch?
That's another week.
It's another one.
We're going up another one.
Yep.
Oh, he went up one.
Yeah. I did. So, so join the military. I would say do your research. I would say make sure that, like, explore your options, right? My dad was in the Army, and when I went in, I talked to the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines, and had a conversation with everybody. I felt good with the Air Force at the time, um, and I would say get used to being told what to do. Your concept of life is going to change. You're going to grow up very quickly. You're going to be piled on with responsibility. You are going to um, you're going to be part of a bigger you're going to be part of a bigger thing than you, right? You're going to be relied on. People are going to count on you to do whatever it is that you do and do it well because their lives are going to depend on it, right? Where that doesn't happen out there. So, do it and do it well and commit to it. Make sure that before you sign that line, you're ready to do that because your life will change dramatically. And what I will say is for the better, right?
Mm.
But it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's it's just not.
It's kind of like business ownership,
Yep.
right? It's not for everybody.
Yep.
But if you want to start a business, make sure that it's your passion and it's what you really want to do. Because starting a business, if you're not starting a name brand that everybody knows, it's a long path forward to get yourself known and out there and build that brand and reputation. It takes time before you start even thinking about making money. And it takes time to build that community that knows who you are and what you're about. So,
And the other thing I'll say about that is don't waver from your values
mhm,
and your not your passion, but
it's your
your
integrity.
integrity,
Mhm.
right? Don't waver from that.
Yeah.
And don't let anybody change that.
That's right.
When we went to open our company, we're very faith focused and we wanted to put a Bible verse and do different things. And we had people come out and say, you can't do that. You'll drive people away and they won't want to do business with you and blah, 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 blah. We looked at each other for about a microsecond and said, yeah, too bad.
Yep.
And we have never nobody has complained. Nobody has ever turned us away that we know of. And we've done work with big companies and some of the what I would consider very leftist companies, and they've embraced us very well. Uh, so just don't stay who you are.
Be you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you don't. Well, the better parts of the advice question that we got. Um, and so, what's like the next plan or for what's the next plan for your business? And if are you guys willing to branch out and go do more out of the U.S. with what you guys are doing here?
So,
To get some more wing.
oh, yeah.
I've got to go up another one.
Mm-hmm. So when we started Outer Circle, we started our consulting firm at the same time. So Outer Circle sat for about 3 months, and the Afghan government fell in August of 21, and got a phone call. We were at down in Florida, and we were at a bar restaurant waiting for our lunch, and got a phone call from my guys and said, "Hey, we need some help." Okay, what do you need? You have a nonprofit, right? Yep. Um, can you help us? We're gonna move our Afghan Special Forces allies out of Afghanistan to safety. I said, sure. Um, I said, but our nonprofit's just sitting. Like, we don't have a website. We don't have anything. How long could it take you to get up? I said, let me make a few phone calls. That day, we had stood up a website. We got funding going. We got everything going. Um, and we started working alongside of, I would say we worked alongside of probably 15 other nonprofits And there were a ton of other nonprofits going, but we really focused on our core kind of group that we had. Um, and one family turned into five, turned into 100, turned into many, right, across the board. We did that for about 2 years. Um, so we are global. We have a guy that gets out of the military in Korea and needs help transitioning. We will help him, right? If we have a guy with PTSD that is in wherever, we will help. So from that perspective, we are there. Obviously, from the law enforcement side, we are really focused on the United States, right? Just because of where we are. We do have a mental health framework that we are rolling out. We just did a cohort with our special operators that went really well, and it's based on 4 pillars: meditation, listening and reading to spiritual, motivational material, journaling, and then a mental health coach that follows you along and with your journey. And we're going to do some more research with that on the special operator side, and then we're going to roll it out on the first responder side. And it is definitely a change of lifestyle. Could I see that going internationally to some law enforcement agencies in different places? Absolutely. Because it definitely builds that inner strength of what you're dealing with. And it helps that it helps you build that structure of I can handle things through the way that the system is built, right? And it helps you kind of give you a sense of ease and helps you with decision making as you go through kind of life, if you will. So yes, we've been there and we will continue to do that.
But you should tell them the story of Nassar.
Okay, so our first family, the very first family that I got with Afghanistan was a gentleman named Nassar Wantandost, and he was the former command sergeant major of the elite Afghan Special Forces. And Nassar is a incredible guy. He's been fighting the Taliban since he was 8 years old. He has trained millions of special operations Afghan commandos, has worked thousands of operations with our guys. He is a tabbed U.S. Army Ranger, a tabbed U.S. Special Forces soldier, gone to our Sergeant Major Academy, gone to our Defense Language Institute. He is a UFC world champion, MMA fighter, and we moved him from Afghanistan into Dubai, and then we moved his wife and kids into Pakistan. And he spent 3 years apart from them. He's still got millions of dollar bounty on his head right now from the Taliban. And it took us 2 years and 3 months to get him here, and then another 3 months, I think, to get his wife and kids here. They lived with us for 9 months. He and I go around and we speak at all kinds of different things together. He's got a job up at Military Academy in North Georgia, teaching grappling, boxing, wrestling, mixed martial arts, and things. And but he is
If you look him up on Instagram, he's
Warrior Nassar.
Yeah, Warrior Nassar. He's incredible.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he is I mean, he was the first Muslim person that I've ever met. And he's all about just taking care of people, loving, giving back, and making the world a better place. And so he's great. And so he'll be at our golf outing. We have a golf outing on October 10th at Bears Best in Suwannee. It's our big fundraising event for the year. We have a golf cannon. We have Kaylee Bishop is a national recording artist to come in and sing the national anthem. We have a bagpiper for the law enforcement. We have South Atlanta High School ROTC is doing our honor guard. We have a raffle and a silent auction. It's just a great day of cops and and veterans getting back and playing some golf. So, yeah, fun day.
You can come up and bring everybody a tray of wings.
Like, hey, I'll make them hotter for that one.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should.
So we made it down. We were at the final wing.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna munch this final way. I'm gonna
Oh, are you?
I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna go high. Yeah,
I haven't fallen out of the chair yet, so he
Yeah.
thinks he's good.
yeah.
how can people reach out to you so that way they can try and help get involved with the business and helping out with the communities and everyone?
Take a bite of that wing.
Okay. All right, I'm going
You're
in.
going in, all right.
That one's our house-made nuke sauce
Oh,
that comes
okay.
on the flamethrower.
Mm-hmm. I can see that one.
Yep.
Mhm. You pick that one. That heat up quick. It's got jalapeno or something in it. It's got,
Yeah, it's jalapeno, serrano, habanero, and
Mhm.
then a handful of other ones.
yeah. Pick up
We
the
all
jalapeno.
mix together, puree.
Nice. It's got a good flavor though.
Mm.
It's not just painful hot. It's good. Um, get involved with us. OuterCircleFoundation.org. That's our website. There's a volunteer sign up form there. The things that we need, well, what every nonprofit needs is we need funding, right? We have veterans, we have law enforcement that need services, that need help. And in order to be able to effectively provide all of that, we need funding. People want to come help at the golf tournament. You hit our website, we'll capture your name and your email address, and then we'll send information. Other things we need, we are looking for any type of donations. You got a gift card, give us a gift card. We use that during our raffle at our golf tournament. Got a t-shirt, stuff you don't want, and you just think, hey, if this could go to a good cause, we will take those things and create gift baskets to auction off for our golf event. So, I mean, there's just so many things that are needed. The community we need service hours and we need stuff. So people want to help. We're an open door. Come help us.
We do a lot of things with alternative treatments of PTSD. And, you have your therapy and then you usually go to pharmaceuticals and then, a lot of guys will stop at pharmaceuticals and from my standpoint, it's a Band-Aid. It treats the symptoms. It does not treat root cause and it masks a whole lot of stuff, right? My own little opinion. I'm not a doctor and it's my own experience, right? But there's a treatment out there called the stellate ganglion block, and it's shots in your neck, and it resets your fight or flight system. So as a guy, and one of our doctors at JSOC has perfected this, and he's done it over years, and he's been doing it for years. And as a guy that comes to us and says, "Hey, I'm having an issue," and yes, I'm diagnosed, yes, I'm in therapy, and we turn him over to the doc, and doc says, "Yes, you're a good candidate, but I can't afford it." That's where we come in. We fly him, we house him, we pay the bill, we pay his food, all of that kind of stuff, and then we come back. As long as they are a candidate and they, will benefit from this, and doc says, yes, it's something that they do. These are the types of services. And then, if we do the mental health framework and, we get that off the ground. So there's going to be ways that the public can say, I want to spend my money here and I want to see where it goes. And then we will put it in that bucket and then they will see where that goes. I want to transition a service member and I want to pay for them to learn computer skills or whatever it is. And we partner with TechBridge downtown or Inspire EDU or something. We partner with Pause for Life for service animals. Our first golf outing, we gave them a $50,000 check, so we funded a service animal. And it cost 50 grand to train a service animal from start to finish. And it's not a cheap endeavor for those guys. And but they do wonders for things. We have equine therapy. I can take guys fishing. We can do hunting. We can do music therapy. We can do, so I mean, there's a lot of things we can do. And that's what we need people to realize is that when that money comes in, right, we have the capability of doing things. And if you want it to go a certain place, we're happy to put it there. If you just want it to go into the general, we're happy to do that too. But yeah. And if you want to come along board, come work with us for a little bit and see how it works, right? And
Yeah, come sit down and work with a veteran and help with the
yeah,
transition program, and
yeah,
it'll change your perspective.
yeah, for sure.